This is my second video on the EMI series that I was planning for Instagram, and I want to talk about the budget allocation for my trips. How do I budget my trips out? So, first thing is that I think the budget for a trip depends a lot on what kind of trip you want to go on, your travel style, and all that stuff. So, I can give you an idea about the way I plan my travels. And this is about international trips. I can probably do another video for domestic ones because obviously the budget allocation is very different. For international trips, we look at a ballpark figure of 1 lakh to 1.5 lakhs for a month. Because I always do at least month-long trips, if not more. I try to do 1.5 to 2 months to 3 months because I don't know if you know my travel style. It's always very slow. Like I travel really slow. And the other thing is my work allows me to do long-term traveling. So when I'm going international, I'm not able to justify short trips because you're already spending so much on the flight tickets. And in my mind, it's like I'm doing so much of effort to get a visa and so many things. So then why would I just go for a quick trip? And also because I don't like just going there, clicking photos and looking at some things and coming back. Nor do I want to tick some checklist which says go to this country. I'm going there if I really want to have a very interesting experience. I'm cycling in the countryside, hiking somewhere, something like that, then you need more time. So I usually do at least a 1.5 month long trip, if not more. So typically the budget is the moment I have like 1.5 lakhs to spare and I start planning my trip because 1.5 lakhs by and large is fine. Obviously you want a little buffer, maybe 2 lakhs is something you should have because you may have medical expenses or some kind of things, especially because I go on adventure trips and stuff. So yeah, I think this may look a little bit small budget, especially for the people who go for short trips, because I think you don't realize, but for longer trips, a lot of your expenses actually constant. For example, your flight tickets. That is something you spend on only once. So typically, I think in the trip there are like 3 major expenses that one has to account for, and that's all I account for. One is the flight tickets, and the flight tickets. One major advantage that I have is that I plan as per that when I get good tickets. Like if I say that okay, I think maybe around September-ish I can start traveling, then I'll start looking at what are the best deals around September. I never have specific dates because I don't have like a corporate job or something where I have to make use of all the weekends, of all the long weekends and stuff. So I don't need to pay those rates at all. I could even travel to places in the off season. So I get really good rates. Like I typically end up looking at 20K return ticket for international, and that includes destinations like Thailand, Taiwan, Australia, Europe. When I went to Europe, my one-way ticket was 18,000. But even there, at some points I was getting cheaper deals. But of course, a Europe trip, especially because I go for 2 months and all, the planning takes a bit of time, so I couldn't take the cheaper deals. But when I did go, I had paid like 18K one way, and 18K is a good amount. I think you should be able to manage in 18K. But if you can manage in 15 or 12K, there are some rare deals which do come up. And these are proper flights, okay? These are not too long flights, no random transits or anything. Proper flights. Economy, of course. The other expense is about the stay. The amount of money I end up staying on, my average is 1500 INR. That is about 20 euros. In that I typically get an apartment and I get a kitchen. I have to get a kitchen. So there are always ups and downs. Like there are these rare cases where I end up paying more, and then of course there are cases where I pay lower than 1500. Like typically I'm paying 800 to 1000 rupees per day. But sometimes I have a little buffer if I want to spend more or whatever. Like in Australia for 3-4 days I had stayed in a cabin, wooden cabin, and that cost me 4000 rupees per night. But I don't mind, and I can manage it. But most of the days I'm spending 800 to 1000 rupees. I get good accommodation, and it's usually solo. I don't share my room or anything, and I have kitchen access and bathrooms and stuff. I think what happens is because I stay for longer time, I'm taking these apartments sometimes for a week or at least for 5 days. So I typically get 10-20% off that way. The other thing is I'm camping a lot of times, so if I'm taking my own tent and my own cycle, then typically the campsite in Europe, Australia costs like 800 to 1000 rupees, and in that I get kitchen access, I get shower. So yeah, it's pretty good. So I take 1500 rupees on average for stay, and food. The third cost is food. So for food also my cost is 1500 rupees per day, and that's a upper limit. See, typically when I'm cycling and stuff, I don't get only food because I'm a pure vegetarian person. I'm fussy about onion garlic. More than pure vegetarian, the thing is if the restaurant has like 15,000 non-veg dishes and 3 veg dishes, I will not be able to eat there. So Thailand, Thailand I didn't eat in a single non-veg place. I only went to pure vegan places that they have for Buddhists. So I only went to those places, or I went to Indian vegetarian restaurants in Bangkok and stuff. I've never eaten on a mixed one in Thailand. Taiwan, couple of times I went to some Italian places, but there also they have these strict Buddhist vegan stuff, so I just go there. Australia I did have because they have a nice balance of veg stuff. Australia is pretty good for veg vegan lifestyle, I kind of thought. Europe has some options, but Europe also I'm very careful. Europe I don't get, like when I was cycling in Europe, I can expect one meal, and that is a pizza. That's it. There's nothing else. So typically the one meal comes for like 10 or 12 euros maximum, and then the rest of the money I buy bread from the supermarket, some cheese, some chocolates, some milk. So very easily it comes within 1500, because I think one of the things a lot of people realize when you do budget traveling in these developed countries is that the cost of living is very decent. So typically in India, like you may have to pay a lot more to get a certain level of quality, but in Europe and stuff, when you're taking the lower rung of things, you're actually getting really good quality. Like in Berlin, I remember I was getting for €1, that is 70-80 bucks, I was getting this huge falafel, like huge. And it was a full meal, and so my full meal was coming for €1 in Berlin, in that specific place. So that's not something I can depend on, but there are such options available. So 1500 for food is a really good thing, and that includes my chocolates and my soft drinks and anything. All the shopping in supermarkets, which is usually this only. I don't do major shopping. So yeah, that is my budget. So if you look, stay and food is like 3000 rupees per day. So for a month it becomes 90,000, and then it's your flight tickets. Flight tickets 20,000 if we calculate, then 1,10,000. So we have a little buffer because I may do some expense on my cycle also, this and that. So then it will go up to 1,30,000, 1,40,000 for a month. But the thing is this, that I actually don't eat out very often because I cook a lot of my food. So I actually don't end up spending even 1500 per day for my food along with my supermarket shopping. So it actually within 1 lakh, 1,20,000 my trips are done one whole month. Sometimes more also, depends what kind of deals I get where. So yeah, that is my budgetary allocation for 1.5 month international developed countries. I end up looking at a budget of 1.5 lakhs, and I live a very good lifestyle, private rooms, bathrooms attached, kitchen access, and eating in good places, no real compromise there. See, the place I don't spend are in tourist attractions, because that is the main thing. I just don't do anything because I cycle or I hike. I want to be out in the nature. I want to experience local life. So if I'm out in the countryside, even if I go to a tourist attraction, it's usually priced for locals and it's very much affordable. I don't go to these very touristy places, and I don't go in the peak seasons. I really don't like crowds. So because of that, I think the costs are pretty decent. And the long-term travel gives me good deals on stay options and things, or I go camping. So camping is anyway cheaper for one person with cycle and tent. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope this helps. I'll do another video for the domestic part of it. I might also do videos for specific costs, how to find good accommodation and flight tickets. Thanks. If you have more questions, shoot me a mail, because I'm doing an AMA series. AMA means ask me anything, so I will definitely try and answer your question. Namaste.